respect, as well as posted notices in the Borough Hall, the Runnymede Post Office, Mary Gold School, Align Bingham School, and Grace Down School. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All of our members. Also present is Nancy Ford, Superintendent of Schools, Joanne Augustine, Business Administrator, Board Secretary, Mark Iannucci, Principal, Mary Gold School, Robert Mundo, Assistant Principal, Mary Gold School, and Philip Stern, Board Secretary. Board Secretary. All right. At this time, we are going to move along to finance and have a budget presentation by Dr. Ward, who was our superintendent, and business administrator, Ms. Joanne Augustine. I need you to secretary. That's fine. Sorry about that. You're absolutely correct.
Last year, you know that my filter also needed to be cleaned last year as well. So apparently I didn't please clean my filter. So welcome to the budget presentation of the Runnymede School District. Thank you for coming and joining us this evening. We believe this is a great place to learn and grow. And this is our budget presentation, some nice pictures of our children engaged in some of the enjoyable activities. Well, our main goal is to prepare students for high school. So the first thing that I'd like to point out is that all 8th graders who take algebra have to take an end-of-course algebra test, regardless of whether they are in 8th grade, they're freshman, sophomore, junior, wherever year they take Algebra 1 in school, they are taking an algebra test. And actually that test, they were planning on making that the test that you needed to pass in order to graduate, but it did wind up that they did that, but our students took the test, and they did very well in 2010, and they did even better in 2011. So I like to boast about the fact that our students who took algebra in 8th grade outperformed the state tremendously. The blue line are the Runnymede students, the red line is the state of New Jersey, the blue line on the left is advanced proficient, in the middle it's proficient, and the two lines on the right, you can see that are mostly red, are either basic or below basic. We only had one student that was considered basic. Below basic would be considered failing. So we didn't have any students fail, even though in the state of New Jersey, a number of students did fail. So our students did very, very well. These are our NJASK Math scores. And the math scores, once again, are indicative of wonderful performance. Once again, the blue line is Runnymede, and that is how our students do all the way down the line. We are better than, with the exception of one grade level, both the state and the district factor group. The district factor group means other school districts that are similar to us in demographics. So in other words, the number of students who are, it's wealth or poverty, that kind of a balance, free reduced lunch, it's income levels of families, it's similar makeup. So we typically perform better in NJASK Math. NJASK is the state test that's administered to every child from grade 3 through grade 8. Here's New Jersey Language Arts, and once again, Runnymede is blue. We have been continuing to work on our middle grades and making some improvements there. By and large, we are always better than our district factor group or like districts, and in most cases, we outperform the state. So last year, we did a community survey. In that survey, there were 7 questions to establish priorities for residents, and there were 133 responses. 76% of the survey respondents had students in the school, and 24% did not. 17% of district families were represented in the results. And the reason why I point this out is because the priorities of the community, the respondents in the community, were very clearly laid out in the community survey. And you will see what's included in the budget and how we're continuing to move toward making sure that we fund the parts of the budget that the community is interested in. You will see that in this budget, we will continue to have the same number of teachers. That means that our class sizes will continue to be no more than 25, in some instances, most instances, fewer than 25. We will continue to have language in our school. We will continue to have full day kindergarten. And what you're going to see is some technology upgrades that follow right behind all of the other things that we were able to preserve. We still have 2 counselors in our school, but that means all 3 schools have counseling support. And we were able to retain sports and other activities exactly the way it had been this year. We take pride in our school atmosphere because we're small schools that are supportive and welcoming. Our schools really boast a sense of community and teamwork. The children are nurtured to do their best. Accommodations are made for special needs. We work especially hard on our special needs programming for our special needs children to craft them in a way that are particularly responsive to their particular needs. And once again, we believe that our students are well prepared for success in high school. When we look at the test scores, the state test scores, our 8th grade does the best out of all of our grades. And that means cumulatively, it doesn't just happen in 8th grade, it has to happen all the way up through. There's also a low incidence of discipline problems. So, when we build the budget, we begin with educational priorities. What is the educational plan? What's the cost of it? What resources do we have to fund the plan? And what are the constraints to implementing the educational plan? So, the budget is always built based on educating children and what the plan is for the children. So the priorities are always the students first, most important, their safety and their health, that they are prepared for high school. I apologize, I kind of put that on us. And again, want to go. That the instructional materials are there to support the program, and that the staff, we have highly qualified teaching staff, that the ratio is good, that our staff is attentive and responsive, communicative, and our residents want to know that we have safe, effective schools. Whether or not you send your children to the public schools, you want to know that the neighborhood schools are safe and effective, and you want to know that there's a good value because there's a tax impact. When people buy homes in a community, they want to know that the schools are good schools, so their home has the value that it ought to have. So here's the development process. What happens is we know that the budget figures are going to start coming out in February, so we begin in November, December, and we ask the principals to meet with their staff and say, what do you need? Start placing your orders. Give us your list of what you need. The principals then send that to the business administrator and I, and we start to take a look at the budget. The business administrator constructs the budget and determines the financial impact. In other words, principals are asking for X amount of dollars. Is there a way for us to fund X amount of dollars in the budget? Do they want everything the same as they had before? Do they want something new? Do they want to have something new and replace something that they don't need anymore? Those kinds of things. And it's defined to fit the mandated parameters. So this is a good time to mention the fact that this is the first year that there is no vote on the budget. 85%, could even be higher by now. At least 85% of the school districts in the state of New Jersey followed the new legislation to say that if you keep your budget within the 2% cap on the tax levy, you no longer need to have a vote on the budget because you have followed the mandate of the 2%. So this Board of Education did elect to hold election of board officials in November, and that meant that we did not have to have a vote on the budget in April like we have for many, many years. So you're here tonight to take a look at the budget, very interested in what's in, what's out, and what's the tax impact going to be. So we had to stay within the mandated 2% cap in order to build this budget. The timeline was, the governor delivered his message on the 21st of February. We got our figures on the 23rd. There was a small window in which we had for the board to approve the budget, so the finance committee had to meet. They took a look at what we developed for them. They asked questions. We refined it. It came back, and then on March 1st, the board approved a budget for submission to the County Office of Education. So the county superintendent has to approve our budget and say, you know, this is okay, this is not okay, I see that you're within 2%, what about this, what about that? They did come back to us with some questions, and we had to make some minor revisions after it was reviewed at the county level. And then submitted to the county office by March 5th. That was the deadline. Had to be submitted to the county office. So what did we consider? School and district educational goals. Look at that community support and survey results. What should we be doing in this budget? What can we focus on? We took a look at enrollment. Are we going up? Are we going down? Are we staying the same? What is our anticipated revenue? Joanne, our business administrator, was working with borough officials to say what's happening with ratables, what is the tax rate, what's the impact going to be. She had to work at the county level, and it takes a bit of time to establish all of that. Mandated regulations. So our district goals, the Board of Education meets every August or September to establish goals for the district. They take a look at test scores, they take a look at all of the relevant data that we can provide for them, and they develop goals based on that. So the board developed these goals last September to improve communication with parents regarding their students' progress, to improve communication to the public, to improve test achievement results in language arts literacy for grades 3 to 7. And we saw that we had some places there where we needed to do it. So the board said, make a plan, it has to be done. And to improve some test achievement in math in grades 5 through 7. You saw we had not as great, if the board was satisfied with good, then we could just keep treading water. But the board wants the district to be great, and they believe that we have every potential to do that. So we took a look at our enrollment trends, as I had mentioned earlier, and what we saw was this is the growth of enrollment for 10 years. We did see in 2008 that the enrollment started to shoot up. It had leveled off for a while, and it started to shoot up. And we're right out there. You can see there's 880 to 860. It's probably a difference of maybe about 10 students. It's just that when you spread it all out on the graph, it looks like more, the configuration looks like more. But it's been, within the last few years, it's stayed within about a 10 to 15 student level. And it's staying up pretty high, actually. So we had to make sure that we budgeted for every student who we currently have and the potential of a few more. The challenges for the development: make sure you preserve the instructional program and expand what's proved to work well. Of course, we have to meet our contractual obligations, address technology repair and upgrades, comply with mandates such as the new harassment, intimidation, and bullying policy. We are going to be required to create a new teacher evaluation model, which is a web-based model. We're also looking at a web-based testing. They're taking that NJASK that's currently a pencil and paper, and by 2015, they're going to be phasing in a complete web-based model where we have to make sure that we have enough technology on hand that children can access computers and take the test. So this is all coming. This is part of the federal revision to No Child Left Behind and Race to the Top. So New Jersey, you may have seen in the news that New Jersey did win some of those awards, Race to the Top, and that we got the waiver for NCLB. Well, all of those come with strings. If there's money, the federal government is looking for us to do certain things. Unfortunately, that money doesn't filter down in whole to districts, so districts have to figure out where they're going to get the rest of that money from. We're getting a little bit, but we're not getting anywhere near what we need to make those mandates happen. And to replace the expired money, A couple of years ago, the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act gave us some additional money, and the Educational Jobs Fund last year. Both of those were federal monies, and that's no longer a part of our budget anymore because it's done. Those all expired. Also, of course, to stay within the 2% cap on the tax levy. So what do we have in our new budget? We've maintained current classifieds and programs, including kindergarten. We've maintained nurse and guidance services in all buildings. We've maintained all the co-curricular programs, and we're adding some new technology to all the schools. We're going to be adding wireless access to big and Downing schools, and we're going to be enhancing it here at Lowell School. We are meeting with the representatives from Apple to start bringing iPad cards into the schools, because iPads are the way of the future, and they're actually the way of the present. So we are jumping right on board with getting those technologies into the hands of our children. We're also going to be adding additional interactive whiteboards to big and Downing schools. We met with teachers today. We had our Apple representative here to start talking about what it would be like to bring iPads into classrooms. The teachers are very excited about them. And they're very excited. The teachers who we were with also are teachers who are using the interactive whiteboards every day. And they say it's an essential learning tool. They love it. They said it engages children, and they think it's the best thing to help children understand things in greater depth, very real world. If they need to know what something is, they can look it up immediately on the web and display it on the screen, and it's right there, right down on it. So we're going to be putting more of those in. So we also have, we're going to be replacing the curbing at the school because the curbing is starting to crumble. We're going to be resurfacing the gym floor at Lowell. We're going to begin the replacement of the glass stairway doors with fireproof doors in Downey, and we're doing that because we have a fire inspection every year. For the last couple of years, the fire inspector has been saying you're really supposed to be using, doing away with some of the stuff that's older. You need to start putting fire-rated doors in. So we're going to be beginning that process. And he said he would work with us. So we're going to be beginning that process. We're also going to be replacing a roof unit at the whole school. So this is where Joanne comes in because she's the facts and figures person. Joanne Augustine is our business administrator. Good evening.
Runnymede was very fortunate to receive an increase in the state aid funding. These figures match what is on this slide with what was advertised in the New Jersey Spotlight website. Without this increase, we would not be able to address the facility needs of our aging buildings and the added cost of contractual obligations, as well as program demands of operating a K-8 school district. Dr. Ward has already highlighted many of the goals and needs of the district. These two pie charts depict the breakdown of revenue by percentage over the last 2 school years. The total budget for 12-13 is $12,261,712, which is comprised of 3 separate and distinct parts. The first is the general fund, which is your local tax levy, state aid, interest income, fund balance, and miscellaneous revenue. The local tax levy percentage for 12-13 is 53% of the budget, which is up from 51.6, but when combined with the debt service, which I'll talk about in a minute, the total percentage is actually down by 0.7%. Ed Jobs funding has been eliminated. Fortunately, other state aid is available to offset the impact on the budget. The second part is the special revenue amount, which is represented by federal and state grants and entitlements. These include your Title I and II, basic skills, NCLB, IDEA, and your non-public funding for non-public programs. The estimated revenue from grants and entitlements is down slightly. The third section is your debt service portion, which represents your principal and interest payments on bonds that were approved in previous bond referendums. And we just finished off making our final payment on that bond referendum on March 15th. So it's 0 is in our 12-13 budget proposal. This is a budgets are obviously financial plans, which are based on estimates of our future costs. They're not definite. It's estimated on what we predict our future costs will be. The next 2 slides will illustrate how each dollar is spent categorically first by program and then by function. This bar chart represents the cost by program. Programs and projects are activities and procedures designed to accomplish an objective or a set of objectives. The largest portion of the dollar, 28 cents, on this chart, is spent on the regular program. The regular program is instructional costs, which include all your direct classroom instructional costs, such as teacher salaries, aides, other instructional staff, classroom supplies, equipment, and much more. The function describes the activity for which a service or material object is required. Functions consist of activities which have the same general operational objectives. Categories of activities comprised in each of these divisions are grouped according to the principle that the activity should be either combined with, compared to, related to, or mutually exclusive. On here, I used the dollar on the background to show that this is all part of the dollar. And you see the biggest portion of the dollar is 76 cents, which is in your salaries and benefits. And all the others are small in comparison to that. But that's all salaries and all benefits, and the benefits would include the PERS, Social Security, unemployment, workers' comp, your health benefits, and even tuition reimbursements. So there's a lot that's included in there. This analysis breaks down in a pie chart by percentage the categories by program and function that the DOE actually uses as well. And I'm just going to, while you look at that, I'm just going to explain a lot of these areas. The functions of what the state calls an LEA, which is your local education agency, are classified into 5 broad areas: instruction, support services, operation of non-instructional services, facility acquisition and construction, and other outlays. The functions are further broken down into sub-functions and service areas, and that's where you'll see there's a lot more sections to the pie there. Support service is for students, that is, because support service can be student-related. That includes activities designed to assess and improve the well-being of students and to supplement the teaching process. Attendance, social work, health services, speech, OT, PT, and related services, guidance, and CST. Support services for the instructional staff includes activities that are associated with assisting the instructional staff with the content and process of providing learning experiences for students, improvement of instruction, educational media, and training. Administrative costs include general, school, and central services. Your general involves activities with policy, Board of Ed services, executive administrative services. Your school administration includes activities that are performed by the principal, assistant principal, and supervisors. Central involves the activities that support other administrative and instructional functions that include your fiscal service, human resources, strategic planning, purchasing, warehousing, distribution, and printing. Your plant operations and activities are concerned with keeping the physical plant open, comfortable, safe for use, and keeping the grounds, buildings, and equipment in effective working condition. Transportation includes the activities involved in the conveyance of students to and from school, including out-of-district schools, as well as to and from your school activities as provided by law. Your tuition represents expenditures to reimburse other educational agencies for instructional services to students residing within the school district, and also for our students that are residing within the district, but they are not attending our district. So what does this mean for the taxpayers? What is the tax impact? $49.62 is the average, is the annual increase in school tax for the average assessed home. This is down from last year's increase of $75.31 for the average assessed home. The total general fund school tax levy will increase $127,127. The tax rate equals 1.938, which represents a 3.3-cent increase over last year's general fund rate. The tax rate for debt service is eliminated for 12-13 school year, which represents a 5.3-cent decrease over last year's debt service rate. The net effect is a 1.5-cent decrease in the combined tax rate for 12-13 school year. However, since the tax year is split over 2 calendar years, the impact for 2012 will be an increase of 5 cents, which is still down from 8 cents from last year. The reduction that you'll see in the rate due to the elimination of the debt service will finally be realized in 2013. What are some of the things to come? Well, we have required and routine maintenance of the facility, which is necessary to keep our buildings operating safely and effectively. Without our state grants, districts must utilize their limited reserves to address facility maintenance. Implementing our technology plan is a method of replacing outdated technologies and equipment while allowing students to have access to new technologies that are being used in the workplace and other institutions. The possibility of increased enrollment always brings a challenge in keeping your class sizes down, finding space, and keeping special education costs under control. New Jersey QSAC, which stands for New Jersey Quality Single Accountability Continuum, we were supposed to be scheduled for review for next year. This is the Department of Ed's monitoring and evaluation system for public school districts. The system focuses on monitoring and evaluating school districts in 5 key component areas: operations, instruction and program, governance, fiscal management, and personnel. And then lastly, the future of our state aid is always a question. Will the governor be able to sustain future increases? Our good schools define good communities, and residents take pride in their schools and communities. The Board of Education, administration, and staff, thank you for your support.
And if anybody wants to see a more detailed version of the budget, there is something called the user-friendly budget, which we are required to post. It will be on our website. As soon as the board approves the budget tonight, we'll put it up on the website, very likely tomorrow. So www.runnymedschools.org. Thank you very much. We will reconvene up on the stage, and we will be taking any questions regarding the budget.
Comments.
Public ask questions or comments.
So at this time, if anyone has any public comment or questions, come on up. Nobody has any questions or comments on the budget?
Oh, I do.
Come on
Hi,
up.
can I just stand up here?
Yeah.
Okay. Do I have to give my name and all that? Yes. All right, Jen Vivian, 824 North Reed Avenue. I just wanted to ask, were any teachers or aides lost in the budget, so we were able to retain all positions? Okay. Thank you.
Mrs. Casio?
Yeah, Papasio. I just want to know, were there any duplicates that you asked for last year that you put on to this budget for this year?
What do you mean by duplicates?
Say for instance, I'll just use this as an example, curbing last year, curbing this year.
Curbing was never put on.
Or I'm just using that as an example.
No, I understand, but curbing was never an issue. Well, it was an issue, but with the additional state aid, we decided to do it this year.
Okay, so it was just put on for this year,
It was
wasn't
just put on for this year.
Okay.
It's been an issue, so we need to take care of it.
Okay, and the fire rated doors, that was included in the budget for,
Yes.
Just for
but
13.
for, it wasn't on last year's budget, and it's also possible that you won't need that money for this year. He's going to work with you, you said, that possibly.
We're gonna do them as we can afford to do them, so we think that we could probably afford to do one set this year, and we would be looking to budget, if the state aid comes through and everything is right, we're looking to do a new set of doors each year.
I mean, of course, we would have liked to seen a zero increase. You know that. So, okay, so this will be user-friendly tomorrow. It will be on your website, exactly? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Mrs. Hickey?
Sorry. What was the financial benefit of moving the elections to November rather than keeping it in? Because I know that somehow it's cost effective, saving us some money.
For us, I think it was, well, it was, from what I saw from last year, the actual cost was closer to 4,000. But what's interesting to note with all the districts doing this move, and then there's also some additional costs that the Board of Elections has told us that would be shared with the districts as well. But what happened was they told, at least in Camden County, they were informed that because there's so few that are now still retaining in April, that the actual cost down for them is, yes, 75% increase in the cost at least. So, yeah, so at least by doing it this way, everyone's sharing in the cost because you've got the machines, the poll workers, the printing of the ballots and all that, and it's done once and it's shared by everybody.
Jenny Brown, you told us the dollar amount increase for each house based upon assessed value, but you didn't give us a percentage. I know you have to stay under the 2% cap. Were you at 1% or were you all the way up to the 2%?
Just under the 2%, I think it was 1.9.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments before we vote? No? Okay, I need a motion to approve the 2012-2013 budget. Before we do that,
Okay, I need to clarify one thing in the approval of our 12-13 budget, which does not affect any of the budgeted general fund budget or the special revenue. However, when the county VA had reviewed our budget, she was still concerned about the local funding of our food service program. So she approved our budget for advertising and to be presented to the public. However, she wanted me to reallocate $10,000 of our local funding for our food service program, move the $10,000 from my deficit line into the aids line for cafeteria aids and playground aids. So it does not affect the bottom line. It just moves it from looking as though that we're supporting too much of our food service program when it should be more self-sufficient. Our problem here is the fact that we don't have a working cafeteria, a working kitchen, I should say. So she wants to see that number come down. The original amount that was in the budget was the same amount that we used last year for our deficit funding, which is our local support of our food service program. So she wanted me to address that at our budget hearing and reduce that number by $10,000 and move that because it's our staffing of our food service program, because much of their work is not the actual preparation, since we don't have the kitchen here. It's more of the supervision and the cafeteria aids. So I've just relocated $10,000 from our deficit line to the salaries for cafeteria aids. So that's the only change within the line items. That's right, thank you.
okay.
Wait, I have a question now. I've been waiting.
Well,
You kept looking like you wanted.
Well, no, you didn't address that. I just have a few questions about that. Did you address it here with the budget? It has been addressed. Pat Wilson, 201 Sugar Avenue, Kentucky. What was your deficit like last year? Where are you now? What is your difference in, like, in other words, you're in the red how much?
Food service, do you speak about food service?
Food service, it's all food service. Have you moved up to, because I know the county superintendent recommended 3 years ago for all this to move to get out of the red a little. Have we improved it at all
Yes, yes.
from before?
Yeah,
So we're-
from what I saw from 2 years ago, the deficit that the board had supported was reduced by about $6,000, and we're target to do it again by at least that much this
Now-
year as well.
Are the people that work within here, their salaries go under the budget for food service when they're not dealing with food at all?
And that's one of the reasons why the county superintendent said that if because we're paying our staff that mans the cafeteria and the serving areas ourselves, that she said, well, if they're not actually doing the preparation, move it out because it looks like you're, really you're in a bad position in your food service program when it's really not us preparing the food. We're paying for the food that's more or less prepared as it's brought in.
Right.
Now,
Now,
we were between a rock and a hard place. I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Wilson, but I just wanted to point out that we were also told 3 years ago that we needed to eliminate every aid that is not IEP and our EP aid. So to where are we supposed to budget? Are people who supervise our children in our cafeteria and recess programs, they are functioning as aides because they supervise children while they're eating lunch, while they're playing on the playground. So if you put them in food service, then that deficit's too high. If you put them in the aid line, then what are you doing with
Well,
aides that are not IEP?
my opinion on this is that it all goes to where you budget. Now, as we all know, in the last 2 years, we've purchased a lot of equipment. Is that going under your cafeteria, food service? Then all of a sudden, we look like we're really in the hole because we purchased equipment and things. Or is that going elsewhere? Because now we won't be purchasing them, so we will be a little less in the deficit.
Well, technically, it should have been, and I would assume that it was, because if it was for the purpose of the
Right.
preparation, that's where it belonged, under Fund 60.
Right, but then next year, we will be less in the red because we won't be purchasing all that equipment. So even though we don't have our own kitchen, we're moving in that direction, but it's all a matter of where you're shuffling money and things. And as I said, we're looking to help you out with that.
Right, and I talked to.
High school, we are looking to be out of the red this year, which, is, we're very excited about that. And our cafeteria staff will be getting a refund of money that they have put out for their own benefits. If they get to a certain point. And we really have worked on getting that. And I know, and just from what we've done, it's where you're putting money, what you're doing. I think we're doing the right thing, but also, like I said, we purchased this, now we don't have to purchase all that. So that's less money we're putting out of that part there, so we should be doing that. Right? I think because some of our people are here, they're all worried about jobs. I know they're all worried about jobs and they're here, and I know the point supports that. And, as long as you're showing you're moving that direction, I think you can be back in something.
We're doing what we can to
Yeah.
please them,
Right.
given the constraints that we have.
Anything further after Mrs. Wilson's comment? I need a motion now for the approval of the 2012-2013 budget.
I make a motion.
Motion made by Maria, seconded by Patty. Before we take the roll call vote, I'm going to read that. Be it resolved to approve the Runnymede Board of Education budget for the fiscal year 2012-2013 school year for submission to the voters as follows. General fund budget, $11,700,44,712. Local tax levy, $6,502,000. For special revenue budget, $517,000. Total budget, $261,712. Resolved that there should be a raise in the general fund, $6,502 for the ensuing year 2012-2013 school year. Be resolved that the district, in accordance with NJASK 6A:23B-1.2b, travel and related expense reimbursement, has adopted policies which provide that Board of Education shall establish in the annual school budget a maximum expenditure amount that may be allotted for such travel and expense reimbursement for the 2012-2013 school year. The Board of Education hereby establishes the school district travel maximum for the 2012-2013 school at the sum of $20,000. The school business administrator shall track and record these costs to ensure that a maximum amount is not exceeded. Be it further resolved that in accordance with NJASK 6A:23A-9.3, C14, that the Board of Education has provided a maximum amount for public professional services as follows. Attorney fees, $30,000. Auditor fees, $18,500. And architect fees, $5,000. Roll call. Any questions on the board? Roll call.
Angel Beebe, Naomi Davidson,
Yes.
Colleen Kirk. Yes. Maria Panzarella. Yes. Patricia Smith.
Yes.
Samantha Spalding.
Yes.
Liz Grillo.
Yes.
Motion carries 7 yes, 0 absent.
What do we do these? I need a motion to adjourn the budget meeting.
Second?
Motion made by Colleen, seconded by Naomi. All in favor? Ayes have it. At this time, we are going